Okay.
Can I ask a question, Lindsay?
Yeah, what's up, Betsy?
Once you do the scale, should you be able to just put the number in? Say if it's out of 12 points, should you just be able to put the 9 in and it comes up with it? Or do
Yes.
you have to click on the words?
You can do either one. So you know what, and you taught me something new. I didn't even know that what you did today was even an option.
Oh.
I didn't even know there was a toggle up there. So I was like, whoa, that's weird. So I haven't played around with that. But you said when you switched the points, it didn't work.
Well, yeah, I do have it working now. I don't know what I did now. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't working
Okay.
then, and I kept playing with it. And truthfully, I have no idea what I did. But
that's fine. That's fine. We'll talk through it.
But the way I have to do it now is I have to figure out the percentage and then click on the right words based on the percentage. So I don't have it done correctly. For sure.
Okay, so yeah, so what you'll do, okay, so you guys can see my screen. So you're just gonna click, oops, let me mute Maggie. So you're just gonna click add scale. And then so the nice thing about doing percentages, Betsy, is that you can use it for multiple assignments, right? So if you make a generic kind of scale that like I'm always going to give kids like these words, right? Then it doesn't matter about, if your assignment's worth 100 points or 2 points or, whatever. So what you'll do is instead of a letter grade, like usually this is where A would go, right? A, B, C, D, whatever. You are going to enter in the word. So what I have done to kind of create these is I just Googled like rubric words because I didn't know, because you want to try to stick to like 1 or 2 words, because when they look at it on their app, the longer it is, it shrinks down. So if you have a sentence, it's going to look like microscopic. The kids won't be able to see it on their app.
Lindsay, sorry to interrupt. Kennedy just came in. We had to talk about a student real quick. Sorry. Are you just in grade setup? That's all I missed.
Yep. So grade setup and then add scale.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Same thing. So you're going to name your scale. So let me just show you a couple scales that I have. You are just going to put the word where it says letter grade. So the range means, if whatever grade the kid gets, right? 8 out of 10. If it falls within an 80 to 100% range, it's going to return that word. Whatever you put in letter grade, that's what they see in their grade book, okay? This letter conversion is something you have to really think about, because this, like when you enter the letter grade into the grade book, so this is made so that you can just say the kid gets an A, the kid gets a B, the kid gets a C, right? If you wanted to do it that way. That is the percentage that goes in the calculation for their overall grade. So if I have a range of like an 80 to 100% and I want it to return the word excellent, I have to decide what grade's actually going to go in the grade book. So if I go in, so Betsy, you know how you were saying, can I enter in like an 8 out of 10 or can I click the word? So if you just clicked the word, whatever you put in that letter conversion is what is going in the grade book, okay? So let's say that I had all these levels, right? I had excellent, I had almost there, right? I had all these levels. And I said an excellent was an 80 to 100%, okay? If I keep this at 100, then that means if I click excellent, when the scale drops down, like you can just see the words and I click excellent, it's putting an 100% in my grade book. But yeah, so because I have 100 right there. If I put like a 90, then it's going to put a 90 when I click on excellent. Okay, so letter conversion is what's going in Schoology to average, right?
You have to do the letter conversion. Can you leave that?
You do. No, you can't leave it blank. Okay. So what I do is I would only, when I put my grades in here, let me show you what it looks like. What I mean by like entering it numerically versus entering it from the scale. So this thing's so slow. If I click, okay, so over here where it says view, if you have this show grading scale on, it's going to pop up with your words, right? Excellent. Almost there. Please submit whatever you use, right? So you got to make sure that's toggled on if you want to see that. So let me go to
Where was that at? That was under, where'd you find that?
view.
Oh, view.
View. Yep. And okay, so in my grades, if I click here, see how my scale comes up?
Mm.
Now for this specific scale that I'm using, it's a 2-point scale. You either get a 2, a 1, or a 0. This is just my feedback to the kids that in my Zoom session that day, they got their work done. They don't have anything to do outside of Zoom. They didn't get it done. They have homework or they're absent. This is not factoring into their grade at all. This is just feedback. Because I don't want to type in the comments, you have homework or you don't have, I don't want to type that every time. So I'm using this scale specifically for just returning basically a comment to a kid. But this whole class engagement, it's not even part of my grade book. It's 0%. Okay, so it's in a category worth nothing. So even though I can say, oh, your class engagement, you have an E, that's more of just like a note to myself, a note to the kid, a note to the parents of most of the days in Zoom, you are not with us.
Mhm.
You are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And for me, all I need is participation, right? Like that's in this virtual world, that's mostly all I'm looking at. So I can easily communicate to parents because when I look at this kid's grade and I go down to that category,
Yeah.
this is what they're seeing. Not done, not done, not done, not done, not done, not done. Homework, homework, homework. Like, so, or absent, right? Like it's so nice for the absent because I can see this is what we did that day. You weren't there for it. This is what we did that day. You weren't there for it.
Mm.
So it's almost like merging a calendar, you know, along with kind of that participation type grade. But like I said, it's 0% of my overall grade book. This is just a feedback category.
So in your grading categories, you have class engagement as one of them.
Yep. So and I played around with this. So my assessments are 80%. My process, which is kind of just like going along and writing down video notes and practice problems and that kind of stuff, that's 20%. I've been playing around with just completely getting rid of that as well. Class engagement is 0, and then I have videos they have to watch, but that's also 0 because that's compliance. But that's like, you know, a lot of, you know, we use our feedback a lot for understanding the big picture of a kid, right?
Mhm.
So when we're talking about taking away, you know, don't grade this, it's compliance. Well, a lot of those compliance things tell me a lot about a student.
Right.
So what I did is they're still in there. I'm still doing them, but it's not affecting them at all. But then at least when I see that you have a 60% in class engagement, I know I got to move in and do something. And the parents know things aren't going right. And I found that even when the categories are worth 0, a kid hates seeing not done, not done, not done, please submit. When they see those words, they still will do stuff even though they know it's not worth a grade. So it's kind of like biggest bang for your buck. You know, you don't crush their grade and their soul, but you also have the documentation of what's going on. So you can make as many categories as you want unweighted.
Lindsay,
So, yep.
question. So for the classroom engagement, how do you build those 2 points down, no homework? How do you build that? I was trying to build that and it asked me for the percentage, just like the one that was.
Yes. Yep. So what I do is, so I go to scale and I said add scale, right? And I'll show you daily engagement here. And I can send you pictures of this stuff. Like if you like the wording, I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
So it says done, no homework. The range is 100. It's going in as 100 because I know my daily engagement is just a 2-1-0 scale anyway.
Right.
So I know I'm not going to like have a range of scores, right? It's not a 5-point scale. It's only 2 points. So it's either done, not done, or absent.
Gotcha. It's 100%, 100%, or 50%, 50%.
Yes. So basically you are choosing, so this is just the scale.
Okay.
If I applied this to a 10-point assignment, that means they're only getting 100 or a 10, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10, or 0 out of 10, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to match the scale with how many points you're offering, right?
Right.
But for example, like I have my quiz scale, right? So I have mastered, intermediate, in progress, and limited.
Okay.
And that was just, I played around with a lot of words, and I'm not crazy about these words because you want to make them as kid friendly as possible. And like, what does intermediate mean to a kid? You know,
Right.
I almost feel like I should say like mastered and then everything else should be not mastered. I don't know.
Progressing needs.
Yeah, I don't know. I put in progress. So, whatever you do, you just have to communicate what it means to your kids. But here, so this is where it's a little bit weird. Okay, so my letter conversion, and I didn't think about this until now.
It didn't go to 100%. It go to 80.
Yeah, so if they get anywhere, now this is for my accommodated kids. Let me go to my regular kids.
Okay.
If they get an 80 to 100%, a 90 is going in the grade book.
I see.
Okay.
So you have to decide. I mean, like for me, I'm really only looking, do you have your quiz mastered? I don't care if it's a 90 or 100 or an 80. I just care, did you get to that standard? So that letter conversion isn't as important for me. But when you're thinking about that letter conversion, it's talking about, Schoology thinks of it as an A. Okay. Even though if you get 100%, you can still have 100% in the category. Okay. But if I wanted it to show a letter grade, it would show whatever's a 90, which is an A. This would show a C plus, this would show a D minus, and this would show an E, right?
Okay.
So let me show you a kid, like let me show you what it looks like here. Okay, so here's a kid that, let me find a kid with most of their stuff mastered here. So Kenny has 100 on all of his tests, right? So even though this one chapter test was 100 points, it still shows the word mastered because he fell within the 80 to 100 range. When it was 50 points, he still fell within the 80 to 100 range. It's still returning mastered, right? I can choose how much my assignments are worth, but then I just apply the scale to it, okay? His overall assessment grade is still calculating correctly. That's why I just kind of split the difference with the letter grade, because our grades in our grade book aren't like transferring to GPA, right? So that letter grade is thinking like, what is the GPA worth, right? How much credit are they getting? But he's still like, it still averages out. It's not like it's giving him a 90% when he really earned 100. So what I did is just kind of split the difference with that. This letter conversion percentage has to fall within the range though.
Okay.
Like if I made this like 75 and tried to save it, it would tell me it doesn't work.
Okay.
It's not in the, within those two numbers.
Okay.
I think, Colin, you might not have heard this. So pick like 1 to 2 words max to put in for that letter grade, because the app like shrinks it down the more words it is, because it tries to fit it in. Now, when they click on their assignment, they can still see the numeric version, but in their grading, they just see the words. So like my whole grade book is just words. I can still see they got a 57.1 out of 100, right?
Right.
But to them, it only says reset and try again. I found that for your 0 or for your, missing or, not enough credit or whatever, to use words like action words, please submit, try again, things like that, like look over, come to student support, like maybe you put student support in as a scale, right? And you've said, hey, for this assignment, if you see that, I'm expecting you in student support to go over this. So you just kind of have to build that in. But I've just noticed that, the numbers don't mean much to kids. and the words are way easier than putting comments in for every single assignment. But in my grade book, I can easily just, like when I'm doing my daily engagement grades, I can easily just click done, 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 done in my grade book. So if I added, like, do you guys know about grade columns?
Yeah, we were told
No.
not to touch that, so I never did.
Okay. So no, you can use them. So grade columns are all the things that kids aren't submitting anything, but you're documenting it. So all of my daily engagement grades, they're not turning anything in, right? Like, I don't know, turn in your syllabus, right? That would be a grade column thing. I don't want it to show up in my materials page. Okay, so if you say add grade column, like all my daily engagement grades today, we did 4.4 practice, halfway done. And so I'm going to choose my scale, daily engagement. It's only worth 2 points. I make sure it's in my not graded category, and that was from today. So do you see how down here there's no submission option? You can't, they're not even going to see this. So what's nice is it doesn't clutter up your materials page. So it's in the grade book. It shows up in the calendar. Everything shows up in upcoming, like all those things. Like when they go to their materials page, it's on here, but it's not like they couldn't click on it and see the assignment because I don't need them to do it. I just need to put in some scores. So grade column's a nice way to not have to, you know, for people that have a million of assignments, but it's just kind of a classwork thing.
Me.
Yeah, like all my stuff is classwork. So then when I go and put it in, I can just say done, 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 not done, not done. Oh, they were absent.
So,
And I can just click it right in there. Or I could press, you know, or I could enter in 21110, however you want. It'll still, even though you're going to see it numerically in your grade book, it's returning the words to them.
okay. So that one is 3.1 dash 4.1 is your practice, right? The student has to submit something or no?
No, this is in my class engagement section. So basically at the end of this was one of my growth goals to document like what does their day-to-day look like, so that a parent has a better perspective of the virtual learning, because you can look at these scores and see, are they applying themselves or not? I mean, this is a compliance thing though, so it's 0% of their grade, but I'm documenting it.
Okay.
And it's just a lot easier to, like, clearly I see that obviously Khaled's struggling because most of the time he doesn't get his stuff done in Zoom. He's probably playing video games in the background, right? So that's kind of like my red flag. I use this system as like my red flag to say, when a kid reaches like the 3 days in a row of 3 Zooms in a row of not completing stuff, an email goes home.
Okay.
These are the 3 days they were supposed to get something done while we were in Zoom. We walked through it together and still nothing was done.
So can I tie those numbers like 210 to the classroom notes, like class notes?
Yeah. So my assignment, Tammy, is just, it's named the date and then what we completed in Zoom.
Okay.
Yep. So like this is how far we got, right? So I'm expecting that everyone is at that point by the end of Zoom, because like every day I have a together room and an independent room, and I allow kids to choose, are you going to do this task independently or together? Most of them I just end up bringing into the together room because they don't get a choice sometimes. But I say to the independent kids, this is what we got done together. So I'm expecting that you at least got there as well, if you were doing it on your own.
Okay.
But then a kid, you know, if a parent looks at their grade, here's the whole perspective of our entire quarter. This is everything that we did, every single Zoom session. It's like a, you know, running log sort of thing. But seeing a 1 out of 2 would mean nothing to them, right? but seeing, look, your kid gets their Zoom stuff done every single time.
And then you check this by their Nearpods or some kind of
Whatever it is we do. So I use OneNote, right? So I'm mostly looking at their OneNote.
okay.
At the end of the day, I check out the OneNote. Do you have half of your practice done? And I just run through.
Okay.
And it's just a quick check. It might be a Nearpod, it might be a video that they had to get done. It's whatever we do in class.
I see.
So I always have some way of seeing their work that we do in class in Zoom on a daily basis.
Okay.
There's got to be some kind of accountability piece, right? Because
Right.
otherwise I wouldn't know how to grade them.
Right.
But it's all within that grade setup. And you can make as many as you want. Like I said, I have like one that I use for assessments. I have a different scale for my accommodated kids because an 80% might not be as achievable. So their mastery is set at 75. So their scale's a little bit different. So it's nice because you can still return those same words that the other kids get, but it's a different scale for them. And then I think I have one for videos, same thing, mastered, almost there, reset and try again, please watch. So the 0 like doesn't say not watched, it says please watch. It's an action word, right?
Okay.
Instead of just putting in the word missing. Because I found that with the word missing can mean a lot of things. Missing doesn't open the opportunity for change, right? Missing could mean it's missing and I'm done and you got a 0 and you can't change it. Missing could mean it's missing for now until you redo something. Like I think everyone has different standards, so I think it's hard for kids to know what the icon means. Because all they see in Schoology is a little asterisk or a line.
Right. I have no problem to do this for the classroom engagement because there's no grade. But for the test or quizzes, I think some kids really care about how many points did they get. If like say if they get 90%, they wanted to try again to get 100%. Some kids doesn't care that much. I'm just not sure about how to do that
And
part.
Tammy, they can still see that. So when they go into their quiz score, they're still going to see a 1 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5. They're still going to see that exact same test score when they click on
Okay.
their quiz. Okay, so
Okay.
same thing. So they're still seeing 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever it is. But
Okay.
when they look at their grades tab in the app
Mhm.
for your class, they're seeing the word mastered.
Oh, okay.
So my kids that want 100%, they still know I got a 9 out of 10. I'm going to redo it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if you
thanks.
had it in as an assignment, so let's say that you added an assignment, you can do it the same way with this. And I don't know, we'll just say it's test. I'm gonna do the mastery regular scale, but let's say that this assignment was 12 points, okay? That's not gonna even out nicely with my mastery scale, but it doesn't matter because I have a range, right?
Mm.
So I'm gonna put it in my assessments, or maybe it's just part of their process, right? It's due today, and they're gonna submit something, who knows? So I say create. Now, when I go in and look at this assignment, let's say they're submitting something,
Mhm.
I can still go in and put in a number here. You got 1, you got 12, you got 10, you got 9. Okay, so if I save this, when I go in my grade book, it's still gonna say 12 out of 12, 10 out of 12, 9 out of 12. But in their app, it's returning a word. So
Okay.
it's calculating the percentage, basing it on the scale you made, and returning a word. But if they went into that assignment, they would still see, so here's my 9 out of 12 person. They're still seeing, where did I put it? Here we go. They're still seeing intermediate, 9 out of 12.
Okay.
Okay, so they're getting both. If they
Okay.
want to find it, they can find it. And they always find it. It's not confusing for them at all.
Okay.
But at least it's returning that word as well. So
Okay.
you can do it with either one. Now I
All
gotta
right.
make sure I delete that.
But that intermediate, you have assigned it as maybe 75% in your grade book, in your grade setup, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So let me go back. Too many windows open. Okay, so here we go. My intermediate was a 70 to an 80%.
Okay.
Okay, so because I put a 9 out of 12, fell within that range, so it returned the intermediate word. So that's it.
Okay. But what are they gonna get in their grade? Not their grade book, but the overall grade book, I guess.
Oh, so the overall grade is still calculated with the raw score. So whatever 9 out of 12 is, right? 75%. 75 is still going in for the average.
Okay.
Think of it as you're just masking the grade with a word. You're just putting a little cover, putting a little sticky note on the numbers,
Right.
and you're putting a word on it. That's it. That's the only thing that's changing. Nothing else in your grade book.
That's what I hoped for, but this letter conversion to the percentage confuses me a little bit.
So that, Tammy, is specifically for like GPA averages and things like that.
Okay,
So
which
that's not going to change your overall average of that category. It's still going to calculate it with the 75% or the 87.2% that they got.
okay, so it's not going to affect their GPA.
No.
Okay, all right.
This would so Tammy, what that has to do with, you know how in our grade setup we have
the power.
there was like we have power school grades, but wasn't there like a Schoology grade? Maybe it's numeric. I don't know. There was a grade scale, right? Whatever grade scale we use.
Right.
If we were only returning values of letter grades, that's where that would come in. But we don't return values of letter grades. We return values of percentages.
Okay. Okay.
Like
So
our power school grades are based on percentages. It's pulling the percentage out of Schoology. And in power school, it's separately saying a 92 is an A. Does that make sense?
right. So basically what we assign letter grades conversion doesn't affect their grade.
No.
Right?
All you have to make sure is when you set it up that it's within that range.
Okay. Okay.
So my 90 is between I could have made it 82. Right. Doesn't matter.
That's what I asked. That's what my question was. Yeah, that's where I was confused. But I'm clear now. Thank you.
So this right here, Tammy, that would be like only show letter grade. If I check this, that means they would not even see the 8 out of 10.
Oh, no,
Okay.
I would not check that.
So if you uncheck it, they're seeing I got 8 out of 10, that's mastered.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you, gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, it's like hidden. But that doesn't apply. I don't know if you guys use Schoology testing quizzes. That doesn't apply for Schoology testing quizzes because they can click right on the test and see their grade no matter what.
Okay.
That would be for like an assignment. If I want to put in an 8 out of 12, but I don't want them to see 8 out of 12 at all, even if they look for it, I would check that off.
Okay.
Okay.
But none of these are going to their power schools report card grade, right? So these are just extra things that they can look at, parents can look at, but it's not affecting their grade at all, right?
No, it's not affecting their grade at all. This is just a different way to show it to kids, but you can use it for things that you have like in a graded category still.
Right. Okay.
Like I use it for my tests and quizzes. It's just in Schoology, it's like putting a veil over the grade and saying mastered, right? It's just a cover up. That's all. But everything's calculated the same on the back end. Averages are calculated. The weighted categories are calculated the same with the raw data score.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, with this, I'm more like relaxed. I'm playing with. I don't want to affect the kids' grade. That's
No, and and like don't go back and change anything. But think about your use of like what this took over for me is I don't use the little flags anymore in the grade book.
Okay, I'm
like my well because I stopped putting in missing. So I would, if it was a graded category,
Uh,
I would put the incomplete flag. Now that doesn't show to kids. That's the only reason I would use that is a red flag for me to say this kid hasn't done this yet.
oh, that
But
does
I've stopped.
the income
So
doesn't. Oh,
incomplete doesn't count against their grade though. Neither
But-
does excused.
symbol though? Do they see the symbol like as
No.
or missing or
No kids in the app see any symbols, even if it's missing. The only thing with missing is if parents have like their weekly email digest set up,
Okay.
it will list the missing grades for that kid.
Oh,
But my biggest problem with the missing is that it doesn't communicate action to kids at all. You
Right.
are not saying please submit. And I don't want to put the missing flag and then type a comment every time that says not complete yet. Please complete ASAP. Like that's annoying to do that for, 15 kids. So what I would do is I would just click, limited, or for my daily engagement or my videos, I would just click please watch, which is essentially a 0.
okay. All right. Thank you.
But
Sorry.
but on tests and quizzes, I just use incomplete because I can't give a kid a 0 if
Right.
they haven't even tried to take the test.
Okay.
But like think about, like I can help brainstorm because it's a very individual thing as far as what words you use, because it's dependent on your culture of your classroom and what, in your subject area really. So if you want to brainstorm, just let Zach or I know, because we can jump in and brainstorm with you, or even help you just build the scales. If you want some more, like one-on-one, go through it with me, help me build an assignment and apply it. Just let us know. We have second and 6th hour available, so we can jump in at any time.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. This is awesome.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming. And I recorded it this time.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
All right. See ya.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lindsay, what is the grade?